2 decades, 2 performances, 1 iconic voice, Simone Simons. Her journey began with The Phantom Agony, a song that cemented her place as a symphonic metal legend. But how has time shaped that voice? How has her range, power, and emotion evolved? This week is all about Epica, because
in 3 days, Epica is going to be having their live symphony and chorus orchestral live stream, also live in the Netherlands. So I just bought my tickets. I'm super stoked, and I had an idea to do a 20-year vocal comparison of Simone Simons' voice. This was specifically inspired by Jeroen Vanos 9653 in his comment, sending me right to the We Will Take You With Us recordings. I had a blast listening to Once Upon a Nightmare the other day, and so I want to jump in, focus a little bit on Epica for a little while, and we're going to be looking at Simone's voice as it's transformed over the last 20 years, and we're going to be doing that with the song The Phantom Agony, which was recorded as part of the We Will Take You With Us songs, as well as in their 20th anniversary concert. So I have both of those recordings side by side. I've never heard these before. I'm really excited about it. I did check them for audio quality, but let's just jump in. I know why you're here.
Leven we in een droomwereld of is
A
dit de
young
realiteit?
Mark Jansen.
The Phantom Agony.
The Phantom Agony.
I can't see you. I can't hear you. Do I still exist?
Nice.
I can't feel you. I can't touch you. Do I exist?
Sick.
I can't taste you. I can't think of you. Do we exist at all?
We exist at all. I love the layout for this. I love that there's a pretty tame orchestra, honestly. They seem like a lot of young musicians that have been brought in for this recording session. I don't know, at this point, it doesn't seem like the band has been doing a lot, and so, they're going to get who they can. I know what that's like, to try to get an orchestra together that can play the music. So she has a very expressive whisper. And she's really focused on the whole production. You can see right here by how she's looking around. And so obviously she hasn't sung it all yet, and that's what I'm waiting for. But I just want to say the orchestra itself has kind of, it's a little tame. It's very specific. It's very student-like. And if you've ever been to student concerts, there's so much precision and so much specificity and exactness. But what I'm waiting for, and I can't wait for the later recording 20 years later to hear it, is how that expressiveness comes out in the entire ensemble. Pumped. Let's keep going.
The future doesn't pass, and the past won't overtake the present. All that remains is an obsolete illusion. We are afraid of all the things that could not be. A phantom
Let's go. All right, now you can feel it. Yeah, more. Okay, there we go. A little bit of vocals. Sorry to pause right there. They're gonna get right back into it, but it's great hearing Mark as like a young growler. You hear the formation. You know, you hear why he got into this band in the first place, because he has such a specific sound between his two types of growls. So there's the like, and then there's the, you know, there's the two types of the lower, more like open, less supported. And I'm not an expert at these kinds of vocals at all. I've just dick around, you know. But there's the two different, you know, there's the open sort of like full sigh with the rounded, really rounded aperture, and then there's the kind of like gritty, more like bright, wide sound, and it's such a cool contrast. I mean, you'd think there's two singers doing those two parts. It's amazing. And then the way Simone comes in with like the ultimate contrast to that. And what I love about this, and I'm going to go back a little bit, just kind of touch on it, even though she's probably going to sing more, but she's so artfully expressive, even though this is just a recording session. And mind you, like, this is the youngest of her recordings that I've ever heard, and I don't know if there are earlier recordings from her, but the sound is so crystalline and specific. And what we don't have, well, we'll talk about the growth later. So just like I was talking about with Mark, she has that similar kind of contrast in that she has that operatic tone where you can see the mouth is rounded, and she really will show her teeth in order to get those more closed vowels, like A, like fade away, A. And she'll show her teeth for that, but she'll also keep that lifted soft palate position the whole time, and there's so much rounding in there. Not unlike what Mark has to do for that grounded sound. But then as she goes up into that passaggio area, she shows a little more to continue to keep the brightness without over darkening the sound. This is very like classical technique. But what she does that I've, have never heard someone do in a traditional classical area is break into that little beltier, chestier sound to create contrast. It's not a technical necessity. It's literally just an emotive, expressive tool that she's using such a musical spirit that it takes to do that. It's amazing. Let's keep going. Rounded, beautiful. Sinking into that pop sound. Yes. So good. All right, let's hit the bridge. life. Stoins. These got to be like synthesized woodwinds, right? Because they're not showing anything, and it's such a clean, clear sound. Maybe that's a way to save budget, but yeah. Really drum line right there. Awesome. Epic, epic, epica. All right. So, yeah, we did it. So let's move on to the next one. Big takeaways from that is, clearly they're world talents, right? And they're young and they're starting out in this band and they know what they want to do and they know how to express it. So there's a lot of specificity. And each line has a very specific character to it. Each timbre has a very specific choice to it. And I'm curious about how that's going to evolve almost 20 years later in this concert, which is the live 20th anniversary. And I believe, I'm not sure when this is from. Correct me if I'm wrong. This might be from 2022. And it's a live recording, bootleg from someone on YouTube. But let's jump into it. Hear the difference. Yeah,
but
definitely
for this
bootleg.
last song,
Audio's good though.
Sahara Dust, before we give the stage back to Epica, we have a very special guest come on stage for this song. So let's see who's gonna join us on stage during the Phantom Agony.
I haven't watched this, so I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm pretty sure this is Epica. Let me check my notes. Oh, this is Sahara Dust. Oops.
I can't feel you. I can't touch
All right,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen.
Should be the right spot. Yeah, that's her,
It's
right?
time to give it up for our special guest, one of the OG Epica
Yes,
band
sir.
members, Eve Hutz.
Hey!
Give it up for Eve.
Yeah, Eve. I was so nervous. Let's go. Yeah, that's Simone. Dude. That sounded like Marco Hietala.
Do we dream at night, or do we share the same old fantasy? I am a silhouette of the person wandering in my dreams. We are afraid of
All right. Oh. All right. So right away, we can hear that the difference is vast. 20 years of a voice maturing, right? But here's what's actually happening. The resulting sound that she's creating here 20 years later is much more cohesive. So the difference between that chestier lower range and the higher range has come out of that like student, precision mode where every sound is very specific and is now all culminating into a very clear but consistent mask resonance throughout the range. This is a very broad misconception that a lot of people make about the classical style, especially if they haven't trained in the classical styles. They think that classical singers need to focus the sound forward to get that kind of clear, ring-like, bell-like sound, that clarity that you can hear very starkly between this recording and the last one. In reality, it's all about the larynx being in a more consistent position that allows for space. And instead of the sound pushing forwards, which doesn't physically make sense, the sound has more space to rattle around, resonate, vibrate in the echo chamber of the upper vocal tract, right? The space between the top of the larynx and the mouth. There's more space there for it to ring around. So the vibrations come together and are able to resonate more consistently in the mask. And that's why she has more of this sweetness to the sound, those overtones that you hear that are placed forward. It's a little nasal, but it's not nasal. It's more like nasal, right? It's vibrating here, but it's not going through the nose. And what that sound means is that it's a healthier sound. It's a sound that she's able to make more consistently with ease because she's relaxed and opening up the back of the space. And also the larynx itself is more stabilized. It's not shifting so much, and it doesn't need to be manipulated to make those sounds that she had to do earlier. It was like a precise manipulation, but it yielded these very different sounds in that first recording. And I'll play a little clip of that here just to create the contrast. And we only had heard one little growl from Mark, but that sound, the same thing happened. It was a more consistent, more like open, more like fluttery growl coming. It was like, instead of like, and it was like, there was a mix of it. I'm not an expert. I'm a pure amateur with that kind of thing. So don't take my imitation as anything other than trying to grasp at examples. But anyway, let's keep listening. Huge difference. This is the most exciting thing for me, hearing that evolution of a singer. Another start. Yeah, and like one other thing that just came to my head after that last phrase that she just sang, it's like the difference is it went from exceptional young soprano who's creating a genre, you know, basically forging a genre by herself, you know, on her own, doing something that hasn't really been done by anyone else, and turning that into Simone Simons. You know, she's not just exceptional soprano, she is her own artist, and that's what that fully integrated, mature, comfortable, theatrical, performative sound that she's making, that's what that's able to do. There's no one who can make a sound like that. It's not just technical, it's not just about the music, it's about the entire performance. That's what that sound says to me. Cool. Dude, this is a banger. And also such specific, like, arc in the vibrato, too. At this point, whatever. Hey. OG Epica. And you even hear it in her speaking voice. Like there is a clear distinction.
picture together, Sahara Dust.
Selfie. Let's go. That was sick. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Everybody in the venue and on screen.
All right. So while this plays out, let's talk a little bit about some takeaways, right? Much more unified sound. Obviously, the first one was a studio recording. This is a performance, so there's more energy there. But I have seen some snippets of her recording or performing back there then around 2004, 2005. And she's an amazing performer regardless. She knows how to work with an audience. She knows how to express the voice in that way. But the most subtle thing that I think that I really enjoyed, that she did really well the first time, but it was so much more nuanced in the 20 years later recording, is that the vibrato has so much more arc and tone to it. So there's so much more, there's a little more depth in the waves of the vibrato, which comes with age anyway. Because of the stability, there's a more deeper wave in the vibrato. But in addition, she doesn't need to make such stark contrasts in the vocal phrases. And that honestly might be something you prefer more, is 2004 Simone's version of going from that really resonant operatic classical sound into that very thin, clear belty position, that chest voice position. Excuse me. Getting a little choked up here. So again, there's a lot that happens when the voice matures, right? Everything here gets more solid. The cartilage turns to bone. It all solidifies. It becomes much more complete. But at the same time, the singer, as a performer, matures to become more relaxed in the singing. I'm really enjoying digging into Epica. If you're watching this as it premieres, I'm going to be live streaming the entire Omega Alive right after this at twitch.tv/Charlie Calotta. That's right, we're back. So I hope you enjoyed this. Really cool comparison. I'm really excited about seeing their concert on Friday, live streamed at 2. If I don't make it, I'm going to figure out a way to see it, but don't tell anyone about that. Who cares? And, but yeah, guys, if you like this 20-year difference thing, one of the things I've enjoyed the most about making these reaction videos is listening to singers when they were just starting out and listening to them right next to where they are now. And I think that's really cool. So if you have any suggestions for that kind of thing, if you want to look at a young Pavarotti, compare him with, one of his last performances, or, Floor Jansen, we've done that before, or, Freddie, any of the great metal guys, there's so many, we could look at Bruce Dickinson early and late. If you guys are into any of that, extreme vocals, that's what I really want to focus on right now. So let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one, or on Twitch right now. Peace. Also, new Nightwish this weekend.